Welcome back to this episode of the Shooting Bricks podcast. And guys, wow, what's that, G? What are you holding up? Four
A
fingers?
four. A
Oh,
four.
four. That's right, baby. It's four for the Warriors. And shout out to Stephen Curry because you finally got that finals MVP you deserve. You should have gotten it in 2015, but we're not talking about that. But there's a lot to talk about. As always, I'm Jerry Castillo, and I'm joined by.
I'm Daniel Nguyen. I just want to say congratulations to the team of the last decade and joining me as well.
Of course, it's your boy. I'm glad to be back. It's your boy, Really Real Gerrel Sus. And if y'all listening to this on the YouTube, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and shoot some bricks with us.
Hey, and like Gerrel, the Warriors are back. The tippity top, the top of the NBA mountain. And guys, fantastic game. I told you guys I was damn near having a heart attack because at the start it was what 12-2 to the Boston Celtics in the really early going of the first quarter, but whew, one big breath, just whew. But yeah, what do you guys think about this game that the Warriors just absolutely, I don't want to say manhandled, but damn, they did work against the Celtics. Their defense tonight was incredible, but what do you guys think?
Incredible defensive outing from the Golden State Warriors, especially in the fourth. In the fourth, Boston couldn't get anything into the bucket, and props to them. I think Golden State out rebounded Boston throughout this entire game. Boston's bigs were trying their best, but for some reason, Golden State kept getting offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. And Stephen Curry played once again. He played lights out. This is a fourth title in my opinion, well deserved. This practically puts this Warriors dynasty, this Warriors core up into the all-time greats. Like we're talking 80s Showtime. Yes, 90s Bulls, early 2000s Lakers and Spurs. Like the Warriors are now in this conversation. And when we talk about history down the line, we're going to be telling like LeBron was the player for the last 15 years, but the Golden State Warriors were the team of the last 15 years. So that's this is how this Warriors team is going to be remembered upon. And you know, the kind of crazy thing is there's a good chance that they repeat next year, but otherwise, Gerrel take the floor.
Damn. They just put a stamp on you, a stamp of approval from Daniel. You heard
Hell
it
yeah,
first.
man. You love to see it.
Hey, man. It was a game. It was a game. I'm more happy as a Lakers fan to see the Boston Celtics at their own house walk back to that locker room. And I know it's bad for me to sit there and be like, Celtics, you lost. But hey, I can't help but to feel happy for the Golden State Warriors. There's some likable players, some annoying players on that squad, but just to see what they've been through in the past couple of seasons, Klay Thompson coming back, Curry with the injuries, Draymond Green with the injuries in the podcast. Gary Payton II, Andrew Wiggins getting his second chance opportunity, taking on these roles. I just think it's really nice to see those players win, and all of the emotion that was within the game. Kind of reminded me of our game on Tuesday, Jarrod, just how the energy kind of shifted, but we're not going to get into all of that.
No, we're definitely not. But no, you mentioned Wiggins, and dude, a few years ago when the Warriors traded for Wiggins, someone on ESPN, I won't mention their name, but someone on ESPN said that the Warriors will never, ever make it to the finals again. It's not who you think it is, but it's a pretty big name. And man, the amount of garbage he must be getting right now. Not only did they make it to the finals, they won, baby. Like people were talking all this mess about Wiggins, and quite frankly, I was too. But that dude just put on a show. He was, like you said, he was the X factor. And dude, he just played his heart out. I mean, you gotta give him mad props. All the years that we thought, he's a bust. But nah, dude, like, he played his heart out on defense. And there were a couple times when he like legitimately blocked Jayson Tatum.
Lockups. He put that man in what is it? I was about to say restraining or straight jacket. Y'all know it. Go back to those episodes before the final started, or after the first game, whatever. Andrew Wiggins is the X factor in this NBA Finals. He was the X factor, and he had Jayson Tatum hurt. He was hurt. That man needed some milk. We're gonna talk about JT a little bit later, hopefully, but Andrew Wiggins did his thing. 18-8 for the finals. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you gotta like really, really give it to him because he's like, again, this wasn't the Andrew Wiggins we were thinking that would ever happen, ever show up. But like, dude, this is exactly the Andrew Wiggins that the Warriors needed at this time. But Daniel, Jaylen Brown had 34 points, and basically he was the driving force of the Celtics. Do you have anything to say about the Celtics, particularly how they played this series, or just anything in general about the Celtics? Because I know all three of us here, we don't like the Celtics too much, but we got to say something nice about them.
Well, first off, I agree with all y'all. Andrew Wiggins was, one of the best X factors tonight, dude. Like when Curry wasn't on the floor, Andrew Wiggins clearly stepped up, and you could see it on the stat line. How many points did he have?
He had 18, 7 of 18 shooting, though.
I mean, there were moments in that game when Boston was on a run that Andrew Wiggins would immediately put a bucket in or get the offensive rebound. And it would clearly like cut off any momentum Boston had. So props to him tonight, man. Like many others, I thought he was a bust too. So it's just kind of crazy. Like he's completely turned it around. So, but anyways, about the Boston Celtics, yeah, you had guys like Jaylen Brown putting up good games tonight, but at the end of the day, though, I think the most striking part about Boston was after their first, that 12-2 run to start off the game. It's just like once the Warriors found a way to get back into the game, it was just like Boston just did not know what to do. You saw on their body language. You even saw it in how Ime Udoka, if you watch the game, at halftime, he get that talk to his players in the locker room. There just wasn't any energy. Even the coach himself, like he just kind of knew, like, we're fucked. That's what happened. And like you could see it in the body language too. It's like Boston knew like this season was over. So Boston kind of waved the white flag way before the fourth quarter in a lot of ways.
Remember what I've been saying for the last few days? Warriors win game 5, demoralize the Celtics, and win game 6. I mean, I'm not a soothsayer or a future seer or whatever you want to call it, but I mean, I'm just saying Boston looked pretty demoralized tonight because the Warriors went on a 21-0 run, which is the largest run in NBA Finals history within the last 50 years. So if that's not demoralized, I don't know what is, but go ahead, G.
We talking about good stuff for the Celtics.
Well, we said some.
Daniel went right back to the Warriors. So was that the question?
Bro, whatever you want to say about the Celtics, because we're gonna get into the Warriors a lot. So might as well give the Celtics whatever we can, and then pivot to the Warriors.
I mean, I agree with Daniel. They got outplayed. I would say they threw the white flag in because we saw you. Okay, they did throw the white flag in because I'm going to call out Jayson Tatum. And I said I wasn't going to do this on this episode. And, there's only one or two things that's going to happen after this finals with JT. He's either going to fold or he's going to rise to the occasion. Is this going to be his LeBron moment when LeBron went to the finals and lost and he bounces back? I really put into, like, I want to put this out there. I want to see what you guys' reaction is. But do we feel on this podcast that Jayson Tatum is a number one guy? He's a 1A guy in this league because this performance, I know y'all saw Drake on when he posted on Instagram when he had his little championship league going on at his crib. And he said, what did Kobe do in that game when he wasn't hitting shots?
Played on defense.
He played on defense. And there's just something about Jayson Tatum. I love the game. I love his game. And it's like, as a Celtic, I'm like, I can't root for you. But like, deep down, I'm like, I'm kind of rooting for you.
Yeah.
But there's just something about him. I'm not, I'm not no NBA athlete, but I'm just looking at him and I'm like, you're looking a little Anthony Davis-ish right now, man. You're not looking like the guy. Are you that guy? So what are your thoughts? Because I would like for us to talk about this maybe now later, but who are we going to identify as those, the guys, or the boys, shout out to the Amazon Prime show, in the league? But first question, is Jayson Tatum a number one guy.
Really, really quickly, Daniel. Very interesting you bring that up because Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer actually posed that same question that Jayson Tatum, played like a number two this series as opposed to being the number one. So I think, and it's very interesting that it's been brought up twice within the last hour. I honestly think that he might be suited as a number two following this series because we saw that Jaylen Brown was just taken over, right? Aside from what game did he like score almost 30, like game 2 or something or whatever, right? He didn't shoot it effectively. And when it came time for the big moments, he didn't step up. Jaylen Brown did. So that's food for thought. Food for thought. Sorry, Daniel, go ahead.
I want to believe that he's the face of the franchise. I've kind of said it before. I'm kind of guilty of that. But after thinking about this finals, Jayson Tatum is by far the best player on this team. But there's a passive personality he has that like, and to be like a true face of the franchise, you gotta have what Kobe and yes, Luka has, like this killer instinct. But admittedly, Jaylen Brown has more of that killer instinct that Jayson Tatum does. Jayson Tatum can put the points up, but like it's just like the way his, some guys' personalities work. It's like Zion has that same issue too. It's just like it's a bit too casual, and to be the guy, you gotta have a killer instinct. And again, I just don't think he has it. So personality wise, skill wise, yes, he's worthy of being a number one, but his personality is what hinders that problem.
It's very interesting too, because I'm looking at the stats now. Jayson Tatum didn't take or attempt a free throw. And Jaylen Brown outshot him by 5 shots. Like, your number one shouldn't be doing that. Like, imagine who's the number one on the Lakers, just so I can relate it to you guys?
LeBron.
What if LeBron took 0 free throws, had 18 shots, made 33% of those shots, while Anthony Davis or Russell Westbrook had 23 shots and 6 free throw attempts? How would you feel about that? Because there's a pecking order, right?
Yep,
we know who's exactly. And so that's kind of like the thing where it's like, interesting. And you even saw it, like Ime Udoka, he trusted Jaylen Brown more down the stretch.
I mean, it even came to a point in the fourth quarter where Jayson Tatum was standing in the corner and they're having Jaylen Brown or Marcus Smart go one-on-one. And I like Jaylen Brown, but I don't want him going one-on-one too often. I like Marcus Smart. I don't want him going one-on-one at all. And then they swing it to the corner and Wiggins just locked that man up on one possession. And Jayson Tatum's not complaining, but he'll look at the ref for a second, kind of do that little walk or that little like jog up court. I don't know. You got to assert yourself. And, I know Jayson Tatum towards the beginning of the fourth quarter was trying that, but Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins were playing excellent defense against him, where he was just throwing up ridiculous wild shots, hoping for a foul call. This is where you go into your bag and go to your go-to moves, So, I don't know. This is tough. This is very tough.
Jayson Tatum is way too talented to only put up 4 shots in the fourth quarter, especially on the scoring end like that, or the offensive end as a whole. He had 2 points, 1 turnover, and that's it.
So when does the blame? I'm not blaming him, because we got to partially put it on the coach as well. You got to set up, especially these young players. And if it's going to be like, I always got to use the model of the Detroit Pistons, where it's kind of spread across multiple players. You gotta start implementing some strategies to get your star players, or even, your role players, Derek White, because what happened to him after game 1, some open shots. To be fair though, Derek White has never been a good 3-point shooter. And aside from his 36-point outburst when he was with the Spurs, I think in game 1 of the 2019 NBA playoffs or whatever against the Nuggets, like, he's never been a prolific shooter. He's there for facilitating and defensive purposes. You can't expect him to be
that guy off the bench. And I think they need someone else to be that guy. I don't, unless Derek White takes a massive step forward, he's not going to be it. And putting putting players in positions to succeed, like that's up to Ime Udoka and the coaching staff because they're still young. And in his first year as a head coach, they made it to the NBA Finals. That's a pretty good start. Like
Very impressive. Like
extremely impressive.
like people at the beginning of the year, like people were kind of down at Boston would even make it this far. Like
Yeah.
everyone was pegging Milwaukee to make it back.
Yeah, and and I think in July they were in the middle of a really bad stretch where they were under
Yep.
500, and people were saying, "Oh, maybe they should fire Ime Udoka," and then they rattled off this incredible run to make it to the NBA Finals. But again, the the young guys just showed that they were young because going back to Jayson Tatum real quick, he's the first player in NBA history to amass 100 plus turnovers in a single playoff run.
100.
Oh wow.
That's a lot.
How many games? How many games did he play?
How many? So
They went to 2 game 7s, right?
2 game 7s, and then so that's 14 already, plus
And this is
six,
game 6. And then what was
20.
first round?
So who did they play in the first round? The Hawks?
Shoot, beats me.
Whatever it is, that's a lot of turnovers, man. Like
It's like what, max 27? So you're averaging a damn near max 27 games, right?
yeah,
Because just including first round, if they did go to game 7, which they didn't, that's
No.
damn near 4 turnovers a game. It's pretty bad especially when you are averaging what, like 3-4 assists a game. Your assist
Yeah.
to turnover ratio is horrible, horrific.
Yeah.
Give that
So-
man a D- in 2K next season and play
So-
making.
So it's the Bucks. They played the Bucks in 7 games. They played the Heat 7 games. They played the Nets in 4. So what is that? 7, 7, 4,
And 6. So 24.
6. 24, right? 24
Wow.
divided by 100. What is that? Damn near 5? No, 4, like you said.
You said 100 plus, right? So yeah, that man
Like-
averaging like 5 turnovers a game.
Yeah. Like, dude, ugh.
That's Russell Westbrook type.
Yep.
With the percentages too. He was essentially a taller Westbrook. But
Ooh wee.
yeah, man. Ooh,
Not something you want.
indeed.
Not something you want to hear
What-
these
what-
days.
What did Clay say in his post interview? What did he say?
Holy cannoli.
Holy cannoli. Jason
Holy
Tatum.
cannoli.
Holy cannoli. Speaking
But-
of Clay.
Speaking of Clay, man, you gotta love it for that man. Like after everything he's been through, my God, like I'm happy for him. And it just goes to show that if Draymond, Steph, and Clay are healthy with the right cast, Warriors are unbeatable, baby. Like they are unstoppable. They are the dynasty. And damn it, man, I'm gonna call it here. They're gonna win another championship within the next 2 years.
Wow, Daniel.
You,
Daniel called it.
you, you got to feel for this war. I mean, you got to feel for this Warrior team. It's a feel good story because remember, the Warriors to get back in his spot had a long and tough road. Like Clay tore his Achilles before coming here. Like Clay was injured. Like people were there was a specific crowd of people who were kind of doubting, like questioning whether his career would ever be the same. And in part, like there's that little bit of a question whether he can get back to prime Clay. But I'm just happy that he got his ring tonight because hey, like he could there was a chance that he could not have been on this court tonight. It's the Warriors they really struggled. They really went through a lot of trials and tribulations to get back to this spot. It kind of makes the story even more memorable, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, 4 championships in 8 years, 6 finals appearances in 8 years as well. This Warriors team, again, because I am a Warrior fan, it's probably one of the greatest dynasties I have seen, and probably all of us have ever seen, because think about it. You have Clay, Splash Brother. You got Dre, who's the Rodman type. You got Wiggins, who's just there and providing solid output.
He's
Solid
just
output.
there.
He's providing solid
I
output.
guess.
Yeah. He's the X factor. But what about Curry? We haven't talked about the finals MVP, and he's already this should have been a second. I wrote about it a long time ago. He should have won 2015, the finals MVP in 2015. It's what is it? 7 years at this point, 7 years overdue. But thoughts on Stephen Curry because he finished the game with 34.7 assists, 7 rebounds. Obviously, like I said just a few seconds ago, won the finals MVP. And he's just been magnificent. Aside from the game 5 stinker, he's been magnificent this entire run, this entire playoff, finals run, final series. And if you voted for another player for finals MVP, okay, it's cool to be wrong sometimes, but it is what it is. But thoughts on Steph Curry?
After tonight's game, you kind of have to really think about the Mount Rushmore of basketball because player. I'm going that far. So if Curry were to retire today, I would be open to putting Curry within the top 5 players of all time because he changed the game that much.
Ooh.
He changed the game that much. Remember, before Curry, like basketball has had a lot of changes, but a lot of big men were still traditional, very much traditional back to the basket. Curry comes in, it's because of him. The big men are changed forever. We now have, it started coming in during the early 2000s, but it's not rare these days to see a 7-footer that is really good from downtown. Curry, that development is because of Stephen Curry. Is he the GOAT? Of course not. But when you fundamentally change how the game is played, you really have to consider, like, does he actually belong there? I believe, like, in my opinion, like, there's a good chance when it's all said and done, like, yes, he's definitely, in my opinion, a better player than what Larry Bird was.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, I'm willing to say he's better than Larry Bird.
And
He's better than
just for people's kind of like context here, right? Curry has one Finals MVP, just got it. He's a 4-time champion. He's an 8-time All-Star. He's a 2-time MVP. He's a 2-time scoring leader, and you can go to his basketball reference page and you can just see all the accolades that he has amassed over the years. So, Daniel says he's probably top 5. G, what say you?
I do have to, like, who's in front of him, Daniel? But before you answer that, so just ponder that question while I go on a little tangent here for a second. I'm not gonna sit here and bash Curry. This man has had iconic moments. He's now proven that, both in 2015 and now that he's the guy, because those two with Kevin Durant, obviously, no offense to you, Jarrod, but
it's a wash.
Kevin Durant was the guy. But
yeah.
He's proven it now, even with the sorry Warriors cast last season, 32 points a game. So Curry's had a lot of, like, iconic moments. He's shown development, he's shown growth. I think he revolutionized the game. I do want to give some kudos to Mike D'Antoni and those Phoenix Suns and that 7 seconds or less offense and having bigs that could shoot and kind of pick up the speed of the game. But Curry, as well as Klay Thompson, as well as this Golden State Warriors franchise dynasty, has revolutionized the game for sure. And they maximized on Curry's talent. His accolades, his accomplishments are off the charts. I think because look, we also said Giannis Antetokounmpo has got to be top 10 by now too, right? So if I think Curry, I could say Curry is itching into that. I also had wanted to beg the question of who will be the top point guards, because if he's top 10, are you not, like, I still have Magic above Curry, so yeah. You said Bird, and I'm okay with that. We watch Winning Time over here on HBO Max. Shout out to Winning Time, but Magic Johnson, man, just throwing that out there. But who do you got in front of him, Daniel? Who do you have in front of him?
See, when you take it that specifically, it gets interesting. So in terms of some of the greatest point guards of all time, you got what? John Stockton. You got,
he's better than John Stockton.
Yeah, he's obvious. I mean, I'm talking an all-time great point guard.
Right.
He's obviously better than John Stockton. Yeah, he's better than Russell Westbrook, of course. I would say Curry is better than Chris Paul. Chris Paul has no rings.
Well, yeah.
I would say I'm willing to argue that Stephen Curry, for the impact, the way he has changed the game forever, that he's probably, as of this moment, the second greatest point guard of all time. The only person
I ain't going off of impact, because in that case, Allen Iverson, the best player, he the second best player off of impact. Michael Jordan is the best player off of impact. Who is the best?
The only point guard I have in front of Steph Curry is probably Magic Johnson. But I think Stephen Curry, if he can get one more title, there's a proper argument to be made that Steph Curry could retire as the better point guard than Magic Johnson, and thus Curry could go down as the greatest point guard of all time.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
I'm willing to say it. I'm going that far.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
These Warriors won the championship, and this man, Daniel, man, you just whoo, Curry. What say you, Jarrod?
Bro, he's top 10 for sure, because it's Michael, LeBron, right? Michael, LeBron, probably Magic, some other person I'm forgetting right now, Tim Duncan, right? Kobe is probably there too.
The disrespect on this podcast. I'm sorry for all the listeners out there.
Kobe
is probably on that list.
Yeah.
Probably.
Kobe is better than Duncan.
I've only done 5.
Kobe's better than Curry.
I've only done 5, man.
You said probably.
Let me finish.
Everybody else got a definite. I'm
Let me
ride
finish.
for my dog Kobe.
All right, fine.
You gonna say probably? You knew you on it? Come on, man. Come on now.
Let me have this. All right, I have some leeway. All right, I'm still riding that championship high. I'm on cloud 109. Cut me some slack.
What do you say? G. Willikers? What did he say? What did Clay say?
Holy cannoli, man.
Holy cannoli.
Holy cannoli. But no, Curry is
the name of this episode.
Holy cannoli, reacting to Game 6 of the NBA Finals. But no, honestly, Curry, he's a top 10 player for sure, because like the players I just mentioned, they're already in the top 10. You got to include, Kareem, Wilt, all those guys. And if we're talking about just his, like you said, Daniel, impact, right? It's one of those things that he changed the game. Gee, you can attest to this. My game is predicated on what Stephen Curry did, right? I don't do it well, but it at least gives us a fighting chance whenever we play because of how he revolutionized the game. So he's a top 10 player for sure. If he wins another championship, if he wins 2 more, being extremely optimistic, he's definitely the best point guard of all time. Is that deniable? If he wins 2 more.
Potentially. Remember, you got to give Magic credit. It was because of Magic the NBA is in this position.
Right, but
you want to talk about revolutionizing the game? We got 6'10" point guards out here. We got positionless players now because of Magic Johnson, who is the all-time. Is he not all-time assist leader or second? Because John Stockton, I believe, has his record. On his averages, I believe it's like he's top.
He's like 10, right? 10 plus.
Yep.
Yeah, but when the Warriors win 2 more championships, I guess we'll have the conversation then. But if Curry does win 2 more championships, it's going to be a harder conversation to not pick Curry as at least being 1B as the greatest point guard of all time. I'm just saying. But
yeah, you do have a point. The conversation, if he keeps winning, it's only
if he wins 2 more, at least 2 more.
It's going to become harder and harder as the years go by.
Right.
Like it's going to become tense.
Right. But just a few more things here before we wrap things up. So on June 16th, 2015, Clay, Curry, and Dre won their first championship. 7 years later to the day. Is that even 7 years? I'm pretty sure I did my math right, but 7 years to the day, Curry, Clay, and Dre win their 4th championship. If that's not poetic, I don't know what is. But any last thoughts on this before we venture into the very, very quick hitters?
I mean, there's not much to say, but like we're going to be talking about this for years to come. It's like the story's not. I don't think it's even finished yet. So, like, man, like ESPN's better be like great, saving us some like, footage, and because we're going to have some 30 for 30s for this one.
All right. 30 for 30s. G, I just saw that tweet.
Of course, we live tweeting on here, man. You know what I'm saying? Go check that out. Follow us at the Shooting Bricks Podcast on Twitter. Yeah, amazing run. We'll leave it at that. Celtics K, they lost. We good with that. So
let's go, baby. Let's go, Dubs. Let's go, GSW. What an amazing year. What an amazing ride. But yeah, man.
The Celtics. Woo!
Love how you watch what you said there, because that's perfect. It is what it is. But just one last really quick hitter here, not pertaining to the Warriors at all, but pertaining to a team that the Warriors beat, the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have agreed to a deal to grab Christian Wood from the Rockets for the 26th pick, Boban Marjanovic, Marquise Chris, who got surgery, Trey Burke, and Sterling Brown. Wow. G, quick thoughts on that? You're making a face.
Get the close up on this one. I'm yanking the locks. What the F? What, Daniel, take it away. I gotta reply. I gotta respond. I gotta gather my thoughts. Go ahead, Daniel. What are your thoughts on this, man? Woo.
I mean, I don't really have intense thoughts. I think it's a good move by Dallas. I mean, it gives help to Luka, and Dallas fills a valuable need in the paint. Christian Wood's a great center. This is only going to help Dallas in the long run.
Okay, G.
It's an amazing move for Dallas. They got Christian Wood for the 26th pick. Forget all those other bums. They're not even going to be on the Rockets by the start of training camp. Half of them probably going to be on the Rockets affiliate, G League affiliate team. Dude, they got Boban for the laughs and giggles, and just because he was on Hustle, check that out on Netflix, by the way. Great movie. But they got Christian Wood for the 26th pick. What were they going to get with the 26th pick anyway? So they finally got the big that's going to, Christian, they got the center version of Spencer Dinwiddie out there. But anyways, this is going to be good. I don't know if this is the move that puts them like over the hump, but this is for sure a move that's going to support them to get, deeper in the playoffs. They're still going to need to round out their team, but this was a steal. If trades are going down like this, then I have hope that we'll be able to trade Russell Westbrook.
Dude.
Hey, I predict, I think the Lakers are capable of a surprise move this offseason. Like, that stuns the league. I think we're capable of it.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But we'll talk about that once the regular season comes a little bit closer, and once the draft and all that, wraps up. But let's let the Warriors have this moment. Shout out to all the Warrior fans. We've done it. We can relax. We can breathe. We can enjoy ourselves and just have a fantastic time. But for everyone listening that wants to have a fantastic time, don't forget to subscribe to whoa, what was that? Let's try that again. Don't forget to subscribe to the Shooting Bricks podcast and leave a review on your platform of choice. It really helps us out. Lastly, make sure to follow us on @podcastbricks on Twitter, @Shooting Bricks Podcast on Instagram, and @The Shooting Bricks Podcast on YouTube for all the news and the video of this episode of the Shooting Bricks Podcast. And guys, what an amazing ride. It was great to do this again, and we should definitely do this again soon. I know that the NBA season has officially wrapped up with the Warriors winning, but we should definitely do this again soon. I can't wait for whenever that time is. But as always, I'm Jarrod Castillo.
I'm going to watch Miss Marvel after this, but once again, congratulations to Jarrod Castillo and to the entire Golden State Warriors fan base. Grateful that you stopped the leprechauns. They're gone. The disaster has been averted. I hope to visit Chase Center one day, and joining me as well.
Hey, shout out to them Warriors. They won. Congrats. The Celtics lost. That made my day. Check out Obi-Wan. Of course, we'll be with you. But hey, we'll be back for some, free agent talks, rumors, and trades, and all that jazz. Yeah, y'all got to come out, show that support, let us know that y'all, tuning in every week. But it's your boy, Gerrel Sales.
And for the last time for this season, we'll see you guys next time.